go.
We are live. Okay.
Ah!
I will tell you right now, excuse the mess. I'm in the process of actually moving, which is probably one of the big reasons why you haven't seen a whole bunch of content coming from me.
Excuses.
Well,
I was going to say, we have none, John.
yeah. Nice. So I'm here with Solid Smurf
What up?
and John Wargame Painting, who isn't going to talk, so I'm going to have to just click on him so you guys can see him. Yay. Okay, so every year around Halloween, we've been doing this now. John and I have been for a long time, and we've been incorporating Smurfs starting last year. But we have been basically doing a scary Halloween game, basically pulling out the man card. It all started way back at the beginning with, yeah, that's right, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. So honestly, probably the most scary, freaky game I've ever played in my life. To this day, I feel like no other game has come quite close enough to galvanizing the man card. John, what's your thoughts on this real quick?
Dark Descent is, to this day, the fuel of nightmares for me. It's the undisputed champ of the fear genre, I think.
Right. So what we're trying to do, we're going to go through a timeline and show you all the games we played. Started with Amnesia. Was this like 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
It's a long time ago, yeah.
Long time ago. And we need to figure out what we're playing this year. But in order to kind of let you know what we've already played through and what we think has kind of been either like decently scary or it sucked, we figured we'd step through this. And in a second, we're going to bring Smurf in because he actually participated last year with us. And whatever you guys decide, there's two choices. Whatever you guys decide is the one we're going to play this year for Halloween. Are we in agreement with that?
I'm so excited.
So, Smurf, you're agreeing that
I'm
whatever the
agreeing to
audience
that.
chooses?
I'm down.
Okay, John, you okay with the audience picking for us? And honestly, if I have no subscribers left and no one responds, then the choice defaults to me. And
But we're giving them options, right?
yes, there's only two options. There's only two options. So we haven't gotten there yet, but let's go ahead and step through the remainder of the games we have played through. The first one, like I said, was Amnesia.
Which was 4 years ago, by the way.
Okay, thank you, John. Was 4 years ago. We then followed it up, and I don't think we necessarily waited till Halloween for this one, but we did follow it up with Penumbra. And Penumbra was definitely one of those games that, even though it made by the same people who made Amnesia, not quite as scary, but man, there were some really juicy moments. The one that comes to mind all the time is there's this one area where you have to get back to some cells in the background, and the lights effectively go out, and the walls effectively attack you because there's some sort of dog-like creature that's popping out through the walls. Totally good game, but not quite as scary, would you say, John, as Amnesia?
Penumbra is more of, and I know it came before Amnesia, but I feel I equate it to more of the remake,
right,
of a movie. Like, the first time you see Nightmare on Elm Street, as a kid, it's terrifying. You grow up knowing it's terrifying. Then they come out with the remastering or the retelling of it, and it's watered down what made it originally scary. So Penumbra is more of, to me, it's like after playing Amnesia, it's just a watered down version of it where you can see they drew a lot into Amnesia from there, but at the same time it wasn't nearly as intimidating.
Okay. And Smurf, whatever games, because we know that you've played Amnesia at least to some degree, and you have played Penumbra at some point, right?
Yes, I have played both, yes.
Okay, so what was your take on it?
On Penumbra?
Or any of them?
Okay, so my
I'm putting him on the spot. Okay, we'll go to the next
No,
game.
no, hold on.
Anyways, the next game that
My
we
first
played.
reaction to Penumbra was ruined because I played it back in alpha, not knowing what it was, and I was bored. I was like, "What is this? This isn't scary." Then I played Amnesia, loved it, went back to Penumbra, realized what it was, and didn't hold a light to Amnesia because
Gotcha.
Amnesia made me pee a little. A
Okay,
lot.
so the year after that, we ended up playing. We went from Penumbra to Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth, and it looked like it had some promise to it when we were reviewing it. But it was a very big drought year for horror games. I mean, there just wasn't anything scary. And I'll tell you right now, anyone who's like, "Oh, you should play Fear. It's really scary." No, anytime you have real agency by having guns that you can just blow away the enemy, you lose that notion of fear. John, quick review on how you felt about Call of Cthulhu.
Call of Cthulhu, it was a dry spell for horror games, but that's no excuse to play this game.
Yeah,
Any port in a storm, John.
I'm a hardcore Dota fan. I would quit Dota and play League of Legends for the rest of my life over playing this game for another 10 minutes.
It's to this date the only game that we have not actually finished from the horror games, and the reason is that the thing that was the most terrifying about that game, bar none, is the really shoddy coding. I mean, for the PC version of this, maybe it was better on the consoles. I can't speak to that, but for the PC, save files would disappear. I remember being thrown back hours back because the save file didn't take. There were
cutscenes would drop you back in time as opposed to progressing the storyline. It would be like cutscene, and then it would be a cutscene that you'd already seen, and then boop, drops you back before the cutscene happened, and you're like, I have to backtrack now? I have to do this again? It was a nightmare.
So in the description area below, we're going to go ahead and put links to the videos that we've done where we've done some part of it, where it's kind of like a let's play, but we're not actually showing the thing. We don't want to ruin the horror game, and we kind of feel if we show it to you, we're ruining it. So you're just really seeing our reactions to it. So in this, you'll definitely see. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. John said it right. It's not a let's play. It's a come see us react to. Amnesia, we do a little bit of that, and there'll be links to the beginning parts of Call of Cthulhu. They're mildly amusing.
There's more Cthulhu than Amnesia, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. There's two Cthulhu videos and only one Amnesia video, and the first Cthulhu video I did, you'll notice that it's actually kind of really nicely done, and the goal was that at the end of us playing Cthulhu the first day, John goes, I'm not playing that game again. That game sucked. And I said, you know what? If I make a good enough video, would you consider it? And John,
I played the second day.
He came back. So I did everything I could, and even after the second video of trying to piece it together and having so many glitches, they're amusing videos, but yeah, avoid Cthulhu Dark Corners of the Earth. This brings us to our fourth game that we played.
This one we played as a group, too. This was all three of us.
No,
Yeah.
Well, so then I'm confused where... Okay, I'll go. I think there's another game in here. That's why I think it's actually 5 years ago. So let me go ahead and pull that one up real quick, and that was Outlast. And Outlast was it definitely gave you a feeling, especially at the beginning, of returning to the ambiance of Amnesia. The only difference, of course, being that in Outlast you were a parkour master, where in Amnesia you were Daniel, the guy who just had to hide correctly behind the galing winds and monsters walking by you.
I feel like you're getting your timeline mixed up. I'm 90% sure Machine for Pigs came out before Outlast.
Okay,
Yep.
so
I feel like Outlast was the palate cleanser to Machine for Pigs.
I think that's what happened because Machine for Pigs was so disappointing that we picked up Outlast.
That's absolutely right. And so I'm sorry that I'm messing up this timeline a little bit. I'm not going back to refilm this. And Amnesia Machine for Pigs was so bad that I don't even have a screen capture for it because that game.
Well, let's
sucked.
be real here. Let's talk about what Machine for Pigs was.
Machine for Pigs was a Disney cart track horror movie.
Yes!
It was going
Yes!
through the haunted mansion. You had no choice in what you were doing. You were just there to look at all of the spooky skeletons on the tables while you were riding through.
Yes. Is that okay for some people?
No. I mean, unless you're like 8 and you like Eddie Murphy movies.
Okay, I'm going to take over here real quick. Beyond all of that, I was floored when I looked at the wiki and they said these were all the story elements you were supposed to pick up as you were running through Amnesia Machine for Pigs. I don't think I got any piece of that. Our entire Machine for Pigs experience was clocking in at about 2 hours and 40 minutes. It was not scary. It was not hard. And I'm not going to lie, it did not live up to the hype that I was hoping for, especially with the sheer volume of delays that occurred. I mean, it was supposed to come out the year prior, which should have saved us from Call of Cthulhu, and when it didn't, and we actually played that stinkhole of the game, which had one fantastic part. There was one fantastic part in Call of Cthulhu, and the rest of it sucked. But for the Amnesia Machine for Pigs, it was heartbreaking that it really did not live up to the hype. John?
Yeah. Amnesia Dark Descent, I have 18 hours clocked on that game. Beat it, 18 hours. Played it a couple of times. Machine for Pigs, beat it, 2 hours, 20 minutes.
It's true.
That was so painful. It was so painful.
I pulled up last in the group for Machine for Pigs just because I got stuck in the glass room with the pig with the taser arms.
The electrostatic pig, yeah.
And it wasn't because it was hard. It was just like, do I get lucky and him not spawn near me this time?
Yeah, there was a lot of luck-based. It didn't really matter. There wasn't like a skill-based thing. You literally had to walk from point A to point B, and there was no option but to just walk through where the pig was. If you lucked out and he wasn't there, you got through. Yep. So the palate cleanser was Outlast, and Outlast, again, it started incredibly well. We have not played the DLC, which is supposedly should explain everything that actually happened in Outlast, because I'll be honest with you, I thoroughly enjoyed Outlast until a little bit after the sequence that occurred with this guy, mainly because too often there was just a single overbearing guy who was hunting you down at all times, and half the time it wasn't even like a scary moment. You were just hiding behind boxes waiting for him to walk away in order to continue the game, and it led, unfortunately, like the quality kind of dropped off because of that, and the story arc at the end seemed really, really reaching. Do you guys have any extra piece of this?
There's a difference between making a horror game scary and making a horror game dragged out. Like, that's what the big bloated guy did, was it didn't ramp any tension. There was never a point where I'm like, in an Amnesia, it was always, you heard that whining noise in the back of your headphones, and you knew something was coming for you, and you had to run and hide and just not look for it. The big bloaty guy almost always was a cinematic before he showed up. And then it was run, hide in a closet, and then it was, look at how awesome we made this character model as he walks underneath the lamp. He looks at the desk. He looks at the closet. He looks under the table. He looks in the closet next to you. Then he goes back to the door and looks behind him just to see if you moved. And now he walks out of the hallway. And then, he pops his head around the doorway again to see if you're out yet. And now he walks away. It was like...
Well, and at any point in time, if you actually popped out and he popped to look back, you had to go through that entire sequence again, waiting for him to get out of the area. It really did drag the game on quite a bit. It artificially lengthened the game, and like I said, it started off so good. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't tell you how good it was, even dealing with the one guy who's comatose on the uh, wheelchair near the beginning of the game. I'm not going to tell you what happens,
Oh,
but I'm just going
oh,
to say,
wheelchair man!
yeah,
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah,
I hate
exactly.
wheelchair.
It was a fantastic piece, and you really got the vibe of it being a horror game, and that was good. You know.
Mhm.
That being said, we now come to the point of the show where you guys get to decide and help us out. The first of your two options upon which you can vote are uh, The Evil Within. That's going to be the first one that you can vote on. If you don't know what this is about, let's just say that I have been anticipating and waiting for on this for quite some time. It's made by the guy who started off making the survival horror genre, the Resident Evil games, before they became just shooter action adventure esque games. As this is back when you effectively had tank controls and died very often. But definitely it has that Saw look and feel. What are you guys' thoughts on The Evil Within? Let's start
It
with
kind of.
Smurf.
Sorry, I'm just gonna jump in there. It kind of reminds me of like that Saw, like you were saying, but like a little bit of Silent Hill thrown in, maybe. And I mean, tetanus everywhere.
John, your thoughts?
I want it to be good, but after Machine for Pigs, Outlast, and Call of Cthulhu, I no longer believe in the horror franchise.
Right. Well, and the horror franchise has been a disappointment recently, a little bit with everything. But I think there's a small chance that this could be good. The problem that I see with this particular game is the bonus to purchase early, which kind of gives you all these things like a free health kit and a free this and a free that, just to help you survive in the game. And I just go, can't get
I'm
a
gonna look it up real
can't
quick.
get a man card if you're getting it pre-ordered. So I've already made sure to have checks and balance in place. John will actually be making my purchase for me, and so he will know. He will know that I do not have any extra health packs. Isn't that correct, John?
Okay, so
Correct.
let's
Yes.
see. Did they take it down?
I don't know.
Oh no, here we go. You get items that, when used correctly, will allow players to stave off death for a moment longer. This includes an extra medical kit, green gel used to upgrade Sebastian's attributes, a double-barrel shotgun, and 3 shells, an incendiary agony bolt, uh, capable of showering enemies with damaging fire sparks, and a poison agony bolt.
I don't know exactly how to say it other than this. So I'm just going to do it. It's basically okay. You can envision what I'm saying that's behind here. It's
Read
uh,
between the
you're,
lines.
you're kind of missing the whole point if the whole thing is that your pre-order gives you a way to get around the fear. It's kind of like, okay, when we play a game, Halloween, lights are off, headphones on. Sometimes John will wear a shawl to make him feel a little bit better. I don't know how else to put it.
It's like the
Again,
cone
see
of
the videos
silence.
of the doobly dude below in order to see what I'm talking about. And with that in mind, we are going to go ahead and talk about the other. So option number 1 is The Evil Within. Option number 2 is, and oh man, I'm so nervous about this one, but it's Alien Isolation. And again, if you guys have not seen the previews, we'll try to find some links down below for you to get like just a trailer. I don't want to do any
So,
spoiling here.
Key point: Alien Isolation is $10 cheaper.
Wow. So if you want to help us save a little bank, maybe you'll pick Alien Isolation. We can actually pre-order it and have it loaded up.
I was going to say, let's talk about pre-order bonuses. Are you ready?
Oh no. Yeah, go ahead.
When you pre-order Alien Isolation, you get the Nostromo Edition Crew Expendable bonus content. Choose to play as one of the 3 surviving crew members only moments after Brett's death at the jaws of the creature. As Ellen Ripley, Dallas, or Parker. You explore the Nostromo. You get actual content.
Yeah, you get actual content, but I think I actually saw someone say this before me that that content probably should have been part of the actual game. That being said, and not trying to get into a DLC, pre-order slicing up of a game in order to make it worthwhile to pre-order, I will state that the fear I have has more to do with the trauma that I'm sorry, Gearbox and I really love a lot of Gearbox software, but Colonial Marines that came out published by Sega, developed by Gearbox and someone else, has really scarred us. Was it fun playing that game with John and Smurf? I'll say yes because pretty much hanging out with John. Excuse to hang out with John and Smurf is always a good one. That's why we're doing this right now. But is that a good game? I'm going to say it's not far behind Call of Cthulhu. And with that, I'm going to point over to John.
Like I said, my expectations for these two games are so bottomed out at this point that if they're just slightly better than trash, I might be happy.
Well, that's good. I mean, John, sometimes it's good to have your expectations reset, bring it down like up here, because unfortunately we got spoiled with Amnesia, right?
Well,
it's like
that's
way
what
up here.
I feel like that's what happened with Machine for Pigs. Like, had I not played Amnesia first, I feel like that game might have been okay.
No, I don't think
But
that
it
would have
was
saved
just
Amnesia.
such a disappointment.
It was such a short game. I would never have felt like we played a horror survival game. Is the problem. I mean,
there was very little surviving in that game.
Well,
and there was very little horror in that game too.
There was just a lot of walking the line queue at the Disney ride.
I'm not even going to say that was really a ride. That was the waiting line to get on the ride.
Did you get Fast Pass?
No, clearly not. No Fast Pass, although it might have seemed so because it was only 2 hours and 40 minutes long. No, it wasn't actually a Fast Pass to the enjoyable ride because it was more like a line queue that eventually just went to the exit.
Well, because what? It came out in 2013, right? And there's still no sign of Frictional Games' next game. So
that's not true. There is sign of the other game, and I forget now what it's called. Smurf, help me out here. Do you remember? I sent you
the Android one.
Is it Sonoma or something like that?
Yeah, I think it is Sonoma.
Oh, that's right, the sentient robot.
No, it's Soma.
Sentient robots. Honestly, that looks really good. And if that was coming out here, even with the burn that we had from Amnesia Machine for Pigs, I'd be pushing to play that game first.
Now, let's talk.
That's the other thing, because you guys can vote on the game, but we're going to end up playing both. I'm going to say.
Well, probably. I would say we're going to play both, although maybe not this calendar year, unless one sucks so bad that we needed a palate cleanse like we did last year with Amnesia Machine for Pigs, and palate cleansed with Outlast.
You know what? I'm going to throw it out there right now. One of the two, if not both, are going to need a palate cleanser. I feel like I want him to be good, but Colonial Marines trailer videos made it look like a good game. Amnesia's Machine for Pigs trailer made it look like a good game. Like, you can cut and edit whatever you want, and at the end of the day, the game is still an ass basket. So
I
want to believe.
I can't argue. I can't disagree. It is what it is, but we need your help. Okay, so at the very least, you're going to be picking what we play first, and hopefully, whatever you pick will be good enough for us to consider it getting the Halloween man card and delaying so that we have another game to play next year, because I just don't believe that Fractional Games will have Sonoma done in 2015. So.
Is it Soma or Sonoma? I think it's Soma.
Oh, maybe it's Soma. I don't know.
Do we as players get to vote? Like do we get to weigh in which one we would prefer?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You can first you can influence everyone right now with your decision making if you'd like, but secondarily you can add each one of us can add our own vote. I mean, there's only three of us, so if I still have 6 viewers, we could be outvoted quickly, right? And that's
Mhm.
good. You guys should have
Yeah.
a say, and we will do everything we can to film it for you. Albeit, again, I don't want to show you the content because if you know the scare is coming, then the horror game loses all its potency. So I don't want to do that. On top of which, with all the craziness revolving around um, DMCA stuff, I'd prefer not to necessarily put that in there.
So
But
DMCA.
there is nothing.
Oh.
There is nothing like watching John Sigsbee play a horror game. I will tell you that much right
It
now.
is. It is gold. It is pure gold. He gets the. Here, I'm going to do my impersonation. You ready?
No, 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 no. Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it. So vote down below.
well,
Vote down below. It's either Alien Isolation or The Evil Within. We will not. We will get the bonus material for Alien Isolation because it doesn't actually isn't like a free get out of jail health pack yada yada nonsense. With Evil Within, we will not be pre-ordering it because we want to do it right.
Mhm.
So that's about where it's at, and I hope you enjoyed this video because we enjoy bringing content to you. Like I said, I'm in the process of moving. The good news is that where I'm moving to, we will probably be able to actually do more content on a more regular basis. I'm trying not to say that because every time I've said it, you guys are probably like, oh, we've heard it before. He's never gonna make anything ever again. And I promise you that's not the case. No, I can't even
once
promise. I'm not even gonna
once
say that.
once a year at Halloween, you can look forward to
At
that.
least at Halloween, you will get content, and so saith
So
John, so saith us all. And John,
Soma is slated for mid 2015, according to Wiki and their website.
well, I don't believe that, but that's okay. I mean, I'm hopeful. I just don't believe it. John, do you want to go ahead and weigh in on of the two games, which game
Oh,
you would rather play?
okay. So again, back to back, I'm gonna throw Call of Cthulhu and Amnesia Machine for Pigs into one category, and then Aliens Colonial Marines into the other category. If I had to pick Outlast being in this category and the New Aliens category being over here, I'm
You
gonna
mean you
pick
mean Evil Within?
Evil
'Cause that,
Within. Yeah, Outlast and Machine for Pigs. I'm sorry, Outlast and Machine for Pigs,
okay.
and then Aliens Colonial Marines. I have to go with Evil Within because Colonial Marines was just so goddamn awful. Like it was
All
just
right. I hope I can edit some audio. Smurf, what's your thoughts?
See, I'm gonna swing the other way, and I'm glad we're having this talk because I'm gonna go with or not. You got me saying it now. The Alien one because we've seen gritty tetanus things before in Blood. I want cold and isolated space and the science fiction harshness.
we
I
did
want to
that already. Don't
experience.
you
Okay,
remember
okay, okay.
falling in
No, 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 no,
holes?
no, 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 no. Stop. We're not going to argue about this point. It's just Smurf's opinion. It's like
Yeah.
the last question in RTD. And now I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents. And I'm going to say that I'm thinking of it from a pragmatic standpoint. I think if I play Alien Isolation first, which is the cheaper game, and it sucks, I'm going to be too pissed off to want to pay full price for The Evil Within. For this reason alone, I think I'm going to say I'm picking The Evil Within so that if that sucks, I'm playing a slightly cheaper game to try to palate cleanse. And literally, I'm hopeful for both games. Okay, but I'm thinking of that as my rationale. But again, you guys get to vote down below. Comment if you wish, and please let us know what your thoughts are. If you're watching this off of Facebook or whatever, please click over to the YouTube channel because we're not going to read the comments from Facebook. Have a good one. Have a good one. Y'all done? Because I'm done. Okay.